Honestly, dude, I just love that theme so much.
It's a
I'm
banger, dude.
I'm honestly surprised we haven't gotten copyrighted for it yet. You know, like we don't just
Let's
get
not
claimed.
manifest that.
Come copyright us, please. Um, but anyway, we are back. We will have a special guest coming eventually. She's just running a little late. Ray Kennex, which is an amazing cosplayer, fan film creator, all sorts of activism. She's just she's just an overall great person. So we're excited she's going to come in a little bit. But for now, we are just going to say hello to everyone. Popping in the
Hello
chat.
there.
What is up, Alice? Charlie, always. Also, Charlie, you have that really cool multicolored um badge that I just noticed. Awesome, dude. That's
Oh,
what I think
sweet.
6 months, 8 months. I don't even know how long he's been
Ooh,
covering
let's
that. But
go.
here she is. Welcome,
Hello.
welcome. How we doing?
Hi, I'm a little raspy, but good. How are you
What's
guys?
going on? Good. Well, it's been hot, so we don't have AC in this house, so we just have fans rolling. So
You don't have AC?
No, it's broken. It's been broken for a
Oh.
while, and fixing it's kind of a thing. And since it's only hot for I guess actually really hot for only 2 months of the year, I guess we're just kind of putting up with it. Or you have like those little space ACs you have in your room. It's kind of something
Yeah.
that people do here. I don't know if you've done that yet, Kat, or you just run the AC all the time because you're like so used
RAC
to 50
hasn't.
degree weather.
Yeah, RAC has not died out on us yet, so we're still going strong. But may the force be with you. That sounds like a struggle.
I know, right? Anyway, thank you so much, Ray, for popping on.
Of
Ray
course.
is an amazing cosplayer. Every cosplay I've ever seen her do is next level and some of the best, really in general. And she's also obviously involved in the fan film space. She has a new fan film new fan film trailer actually just came out a little while ago called Sakura. It's going to be a full. I don't know how long is it.
That's a short film. That was it's not a trailer.
Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, the full film did come out. I remember I saw the trailer, I think a little while ago. But yeah, I had the pleasure of meeting you for like a split second at Celebration.
Super quick.
You were like, dude, you had like the craziest line ever, and I was like, I am not gonna interfere. But I talked to Jason for a little bit.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad you guys talked.
Yeah. No, what else has he been involved in? Like, what's his background, if you don't mind me? We didn't really get into that, but it seems like you have a pretty good team on your hands.
Yeah, well, he's amazing. He's a filmmaker, so he's mainly a director, but he also writes and produces some, and he has an Emmy, 2 Emmys actually, for some of the TV work that he does. So
Cool.
he's a very accomplished and very talented
it also helps
person.
when you're a nice guy.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's great to work with. We love it, and we're on the same wave when it comes to Star Wars. So we understand the same ideas, and so it's really easy to come up with things. It's harder to weed out ideas rather than to come up with ideas because there's so many.
Yeah, and it truly takes a actual passionate fan to make a good idea in a Star Wars film, which we'll get into it later with Kenobi, but it seems like a lot of the fan projects have been far superior and have that Star Wars-esque vibe, such as yours did. I noticed you had I remember you told me this a while ago, but I totally forgot. Zach actually pointed out you had Shapeshifter do a lot of the voices for your fan film, and he's so good. He's actually involved in a couple other fan films now too. He's really getting around. So awesome. I had one more quick question just to ask you before we get into it about kind of, I guess, your cosplay and everything. How many hours do you just stay out there taking pictures? And how do your feet not want to fall in on themselves by the time
they
you're
are falling. They are definitely falling. It really depends, like you said, on what I'm wearing that day. And there is a distinction between a cosplay and a film costume. So for Ayla, when you saw me, that was a more of a cosplay interpretation of the costume, which makes it easier. So basically, I wore a top, so I didn't have to paint myself.
Yeah.
And you can get away with that. And of course, whenever you go to the convention, it's like a tip for everyone. Make sure that you have more makeup than you think you need because the lighting is horrible and people are taking pictures on the phones. So that's why it's the more of a cosplay adjustment. I would never do that much makeup for the film because it'd be too much. But yeah, so this way you can get away and be more comfortable, or you can wear different shoes if you feel like you need to walk around all day, like no heels. I wore the same thing, but yeah, it's very painful, but it's worth it, I guess. You just have that adrenaline rush, and it keeps you going, and then you come back home and you're dead. So
Yeah, like I remember after the convention on my way back, I was like, I haven't walked that much in so long. Like I can't even move. I can only imagine like the people in like high heels or the people in like their
yeah,
full
it's tough.
getups or in like full suits where they're just sweating profusely, especially in the convention center. It's so hot in there.
It's tough,
Um,
and it's a commitment for sure.
yeah, yeah. You guys have any questions before we get into it?
I think Alice has one right here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, there we go. Did you make this Sakura outfit yourself? How long did it take you for this one? I did not make it entirely myself. My belt leather part was commissioned, but I'm involved in every single detail. So anything that in any of my costumes that I wear, I have been involved in it either with my vision, my ideas, or my post work like weathering or recoloring or refitting. So I like to have my hands on pretty much anything, and the rest I did the boot adjustments, the lacquer pieces, the headbands. I painted the lacquer, the clothing parts, the makeup myself also. How long did it take you? It's hard to tell because I don't really track the time. Usually, it's I do several projects at a time, so a few months normally, depending on how long you have to wait on something. If you're waiting for APs to be made for you, or if you have everything at hand, so it really is different. But that one maybe like a couple of months. It wasn't too hard because it doesn't have any armor or any craziness on it. I think that the belt took the most work for leathersmiths because it's a lot of very intricate detail, and then we had to resize it because I lost weight and it was falling everywhere. So yeah, it was. It's usually a work in progress.
that's
I have a
wild.
question for you, Ray, because first off, it's wonderful to see you again. Thank you so much
Yes,
for coming back
same.
and joining us. But Alex had mentioned to us the other week that he had the chance to meet you at Celebration and that you were just doing so many photo ops, and it had me wondering. Like, forgive me if I've asked you this the last time you were on, but I was just wondering, like, how does especially if you were to do like full body Ahsoka or whatever, when you're doing like body paint, how long does that hold up? Like, or do you have to just be constantly like retouching it, or like what type of quality like paint or like specific, like if it's cosmetic like body paint, or what are you using as exactly that like allows it to last like all day long
Well,
potentially?
that's a good question, and hopefully will be helpful. So for a convention, it's probably as harsh of an environment as it is on set, except you don't have your airbrush at hand, and so you can't run and touch it up properly.
Yeah.
So I use airbrush paint for film,
Okay.
which is also depending on where you are. If you are on location like we were, or a convention center, uh, it's not easy to touch up airbrush body paint for obvious
Yeah.
reasons. And so you have a little brush with you, you can touch up little things. But what I found is that um, it holds up really well. Alcohol-based paint holds up for the entire day, except the places where the fabric rubs, like for example, here around your arms, or here, when anywhere there's friction, that's
Mm.
where it will rub off and look horrible. So you have to kind of keep an eye on it and touch it up with a little brush or a sponge throughout the day. It won't
Mm.
look as good after you touched it up with a sponge, not with an airbrush. You kind of can see where it was done, so you got to be aware of it. And that's why I guess the top that I wore for the convention really saved me. I didn't have to do any
Yeah.
touch-ups whatsoever. Maybe
Mhm.
on my face a little bit, but it's just a teeny thing. But some people are getting away with sponged on or brushed on water-based paint, and that one is much easier to touch up because that's how you apply it. So anytime you touch it up, it looks the same. So
Mm.
but it won't stay as well if you're sweating or rubbing it. It will go. So perks, I mean, there are pros and cons. It really depends on the personal preference of what each person likes to do. I like alcohol because I think it stays better. So it did
Yeah.
great at the celebration. And it almost did great at Sakura, except this area where I was doing the lightsaber stuff. I wiped it all, like it was horrible. It was like
Oh my goodness.
yeah. So we had to touch it up. in the
Yeah.
desert with the sand blowing on me
Oh
in
gosh.
paint. It was terrible. Yes.
Does
It
not
was-
sound like ideal conditions for sure, but
no, like everything sticks to it. Well, it's still wet. The
Yeah.
wind gusts just throw sand in you, and you have it on. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Did it ever
Anakin would
like?
hate it.
Was there ever any like inclement weather when there wasn't supposed to be, and you're like, oh, now we got to move the shoot date or anything, or was it all pretty just
No.
mostly just windy conditions?
Yeah, I mean it's Southern California. It's either
Yeah.
hot or windy or both, and it's
Yeah. Or we
yeah.
just get random rain in the middle of summer, and that's about it.
Well, we were lucky because that was the only day in that whole probably year where there were clouds. Because the rest of the time it's desert. There's no cloud at all. But that day there were clouds, and it helped so much with everything. So we were just lucky, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it looks great, and obviously you had a great team behind you. You mentioned something about the Leku. I just wanted to ask you. Also, the way you say Leku is amazing. I love it. But what exactly does that entail? You might have described it, but I might have missed it. It's like a headband, and then what else? Like to create because it looks so good.
It's it's all separate pieces. So the silicone pieces with the long tentacles, and then there's another headband that goes on top to kind of cover the back, and then there's this whole leather headpiece, headgear with
Mhm.
little cones attached to it and the straps. So it's all a system.
Gotcha. I remember you
Yeah.
mentioned something about like the Ahsoka headpiece being super heavy. Is this one like heavy or no?
No, this one's light. This one's much lighter than
Oh,
Ahsoka.
okay.
I can actually wear it all day, and it barely hurts
Oh,
my
wow.
head a little bit, but nearly not as much as Ahsoka does.
You can
This
like
one's
actually do your own stunts now.
yeah, I can actually do stunts at all. And that was awesome to do it. Yeah, and it's all like whipping all over the place. It's great.
Are you planning on going to a convention in London?
I don't know yet. Well, it's
Okay.
it's a year away.
It's far away.
I
but-
can't plan anything,
Okay.
but hopefully.
Yeah, we're gonna
Hopefully.
try to get Kat to go this next year.
Yes,
Unfortunately,
we
she couldn't go
should.
this year, but we'll all reunite at some point together.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks Aiden for the dono. What's up, guys? Hope you're all well. Kat, Alex, Zach, good to see you guys. And Ray had a blast talking to you earlier.
Hey, Aiden.
Thanks, Aiden. Thanks, brother. Anyway, you guys be sure to go check out. We won't watch it here. Go give reviews. Go give her a subscribe.
Heck yes.
Also check her out on
Thank
Instagram.
you.
It's the same exact as her YouTube.
If you're not
so-
already following her on Instagram, I'm pretty sure we lectured you guys about this last
Yeah.
time. You are
Yeah.
missing out if you're not already following her. So
Exactly. Well, anyway, from that we're gonna segue into our meme of the week. So
let's go.
without further
Oh,
ado,
gosh.
I keep like not looking for these, but we finally have one this week. But here we go. I love him, dude. His memes are so great, and his like graphic artistry is amazing. Just so funny.
Poor thing.
Anyway, now on to Kenobi. Zach, if you wanna take this one away,
You just want me to jump right into
yeah,
it?
just jump right into it, dude. Let's just
No
go.
segue. Jeff.
Okay. Well, this was my least favorite episode. It was the first episode. I think the gist of it is it was the first episode where I like couldn't ignore the bad writing. And I think that was because there was just so many missed opportunities, as well as there wasn't really any character defining moments or character development, specifically from Obi-Wan's part. It was just kind of an episode that relied on action and stakes of characters that we know survive because we see them later, and it just wasn't executed very well in my opinion. That's just my general thoughts about it, and we'll get into specifics later. But what did you guys think?
Yeah, Kat, you can go next.
Yeah, this is why I like to hear from you guys, because you guys have a background in this stuff and filmmaking, from an acting perspective. Like, I don't pick up on writing or direction. Like, I don't know how to detect that stuff, but I have seen that is a common discourse about this show in the Star Wars Twitter sphere. That doesn't bother me so much. This episode, I feel like was completely different from what I had anticipated, but I'm trying to remind myself that that's not necessarily a bad thing. I did like for the final half, the second act of the episode, like I really felt like I was on the edge of my seat the whole time, which was, I don't know, I felt like that anxiety, like, oh, can they just like make it out? I don't know. And I liked that it was very, it begs, borrow, and steals a lot from like Jedi Fallen Order. That's something like, I don't want them to do too much of this because it did feel very Jedi Fallen Order, and especially at the end, it felt very much like Omega and, oh my gosh, what's his name? It's been a hot minute since Bad Batch. Yes, Hunter and Omega. I was like, we're starting to get a lot of similar themes that I'm just like, out, we can do other things. But going in, like, I am relieved that they were able to do the rescue all within one episode, so that the final 2 episodes, it's a clean slate and something big is on the horizon, hopefully. So trying to stay optimistic going into the last 2. But I liked the energy and the pace and the anxiety in this one that I felt. So
yeah, like I feel like the story's getting progressively better. Reva's character is getting progressively better. A lot of things are getting progressively better while other things are suffering still. And it's unfortunate they had a filler episode when there's only 6 episodes in the entire series. But before I get into it, before I get into a nice little poll, I want to hear what Ray has to say about it, because she's, her and Kat are the ones that are like, cautiously optimistic. And me and Zach are more of the, critical, overly critical, if not annoying, moviegoers. So it's nice to have a little difference of opinion. That's what we're here for. We're here for discourse. So Ray, if you want to give your thoughts.
Well, I can go to the dark side with this or to the light side. I can go either way. It's just, what do you choose? To me,
Yeah.
it's like, what do we choose to do with this?
Choose to feel.
So yeah, choose to feel. What do we choose to feel? Well, I'm gonna side with Kat on this one. Well, I feel like the themes are getting repetitive, and I could have had enough of saving Leia. With 1 episode was more than enough to me. And I'd say I like the beginning, when it was more of a character-driven story with an insight into Obi-Wan's mind. That's the stuff I like to do, and especially when you have an actor like that who can pull off any freaking crazy crap you can throw at him. And it felt like a little adventure episode. It didn't do much. I don't know. It's like, yeah, like Kat said, we've seen this before, and it didn't feel very new, or it didn't give Obi-Wan time to shine as the title or character of the show. However, I choose to enjoy what I see and pick things I like rather than things I don't like. So I would know Tala, who is becoming my favorite character in the whole series. She's an absolute freaking incredible. Indra, right? The actress name. She's incredible. Every little beat she just nails in
Indira
her
Varma.
characters. Yeah, Indira Varma. She's fantastic, and her character's great. I loved her instantly, and every time she does something, I'm like, oh my goodness, can you get any cooler? So she's incredible. So I'm enjoying her a lot, and I think little Leia in this episode did a fantastic job. Like, she's just like stole every scene. What else? I would rather it dove deeper into Obi-Wan's internal world and his struggle, but that's just me. I mean, it's all about subjectivity and what you prefer and what you want to see. Obviously, but I'm always thinking, you can't make a movie to please everyone. So what you can do is you can do what you think is best, and then everyone will find something to enjoy about it. And I just enjoy watching you and doing his thing. And
I think that's something we can all agree on.
Yeah, I could nitpick. I mean, yes, I would do things maybe differently, but I'm not the one who's doing the show. If I were, I would do things maybe something else. But we're not done yet. And as a filmmaker, you know how much work goes into it and how passionate people are that are doing all of this. So to me, just I would not bash them just out of respect for what they do. Would I critique them? Maybe, but I just choose to enjoy and to see to the end and then look back and see.
Yeah. No, I agree
think
100%.
that's my perspective. So, but you guys can, do your thing and criticize.
Don't worry, Zach and Alex are about to go on.
I mean, I agree with like pretty much everything you're saying is 100% true, and I agree. There's still 2 episodes left, and there's a lot of things that are great about it. It's not like there's anything that's not good. There's just a lot of like Zach said. I'm gonna agree 100%. Just a lot of missed opportunity and a lot of things that probably could have been fleshed out a little bit more, as you said. And then the biggest I think thing that is upsetting me is that these episodes are so short.
They are short, yeah.
They're so short. But I want to share. I guess I did a poll on my channel the other day, just kind of see kind of what everyone's kind of feeling. So with the sample size of about 34,000 votes, we have about 37% saying it's okay, could be better, still enjoying some things. I find myself kind of in this boat right now. I was a 7-8 before this episode, but it seems to be kind of leaning more towards the positive, which is great. I mean, I'm very happy that a lot of people are enjoying it thus far. But excuse the bottom. I just had to. There are those people out there that will say it's like the worst thing. It's the worst thing in the world. But I wanna have like a nice kind of graph of kind of what the synopsis is of the series so far.
Well, that poll's just for episode 4.
Yeah,
I would say 3 out of 4 for episode 4. As a whole, 7 out of 8. I would say.
As a whole, 7 out of 8 for you.
As a whole, yeah.
Kat?
Oh, I wish I could pick a point between 7 out of 8 and 9 out of 10. Because I don't know. I guess if I had to choose, I'll do 9 out of 10. Because I'm similar to Ray. I'm trying to just be like, and y'all know this about me. The second I go on Twitter and see other people bashing something, then I buy into it and I start to listen to them. And so that's a really bad habit for me. And I've noticed that when I refrain from doing that and I just pick and choose, exactly like what Ray said, pick and choose, take the good with the bad and just focus on, the stuff that I am enjoying, then I have an overwhelmingly more positive outlook. So I'm going to tread carefully, but there are those rumors that the final episode could be a little bit polarizing, perhaps, or I don't know. You guys know I
seems like everything in Star Wars is polarizing now.
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
Right.
is that even avoidable at this point in the fandom? And you guys know I had told you all, like, I just want this show. I feel like the show was the opportunity to be really unifying for the fan base, but I think that was naive of me to
No, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's like not even a hot take to say that that like it's going to be polarizing, because it's inevitable, and no matter what it is in any medium in Star Wars nowadays, that's what it's going to be, because people are always just have this precomposed disposition towards absolutely hating everything that Disney puts out without even seeing it. So that's another side of the fandom that's inevitably going to happen. Zach,
About what do you want me to say?
any thoughts kind of, I guess, on the state of the fandom now and the polarization of, I guess, Kenobi right now, or what you think is going to continue?
I just think it's going to stay like this. I mean, ever since The Last Jedi, it's just been like one side butting heads against the other. I've never seen a fandom that's so like politicized and just in a constant state of like warfare. I'm getting tired of it. Like it's honestly, it sucks. Like I wish that we could, for the most part, enjoy Star Wars, but apparently for one reason or the other, it's not possible.
Like, I just remember I enjoyed episode 3, and like I could understand a couple things, but like a lot of the issues that were raised were like, because of this one thing, I hate everything. And instead of, like I agree with what Ray was saying. There are a lot of great things, and you can choose to accept the good, or you can choose to focus on the bad. It's all a mindset, but it's just interesting just to see, I guess, the internet in general, just in the comment sections, people saying things that they would probably never say in person either. So
Well, that's a big thing for me. as long as the criticism is respectful and
Yeah.
as long as it brings something new to the discussion and you respect other people's opinions who disagree with you, then it's totally okay. And it should be, because it makes things better. But bashing things and bashing people and saying you're a toxic fan because you said you did not like this character or the story or whatever, I think like that's a little bit too much. And that's what makes the fandom so crazy, because it's like agree to disagree, and it's just a movie, and if we don't like something, well, it's fine. It's not world changing. It shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So I
There's a
always
lot
say
more
that
important things going on.
exactly, like on my even on my films, if there's a valid criticism that's done with respect, I will take it. I'll be thankful for it, because I might have
Mhm.
missed something and somebody caught it, and I'm like, okay, great, awesome, like I can do it better next time. And yeah, but there's a point though when there's too many things you don't like rather than like, then you can say, okay, I completely didn't like this film because there were more minuses to me than enjoyable things, and as much as I could, I couldn't focus on the good because too much
Yeah.
was like way off, and that's totally fine as well.
Yeah, I think that's why I didn't like. I was feeling the way I was about this episode. This was the first episode where the bad outweighed the good for me. Because every episode before this, I recognize it's not perfect, but like Ewan McGregor's amazing.
Mhm.
Like I love watching him as
Mhm.
Obi-Wan. It's such a privilege. And then having Darth Vader pop up and having the showdown between them, and then little Leia is fantastic.
Mhm.
It all outweighed the bad writing and some of the low quality production stuff that is kind of surprising to me. But this episode just had too many of those negatives, like you said, for me to enjoy it, and it sucks. I don't like feeling this way.
I'm curious, is everyone else like really wanting more Vader? Like I struggle because you guys know I had wanted him to have almost like I was talking big, like he needs to have equivalent screen time with Ewan or else I'm gonna riot. But like that has definitely not been the case so far. But I'm curious to hear if other people are like, yes, there needs to be more of him, or if Vader is just always gonna be a character that they don't tap into too much out of fear of like demystifying him or overly using him to the point where it like I don't know, eradicates the kind of terror and the fear and
The presence.
anticipation around him.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, the presence.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the very beginning. I was one of the few people, or maybe I don't know what the distribution would be for this, but I really didn't want to see him in this at all.
Really?
It would have been great. I'm more along the lines of keeping him very mysterious and like a character that shows up like in important moments or insane fan moments like Rogue One
Yeah.
or whatever, because like he had his trilogy, and like I'm okay with it being more about Kenobi struggling with himself, finding you know Qui-Gon and doing his training, watching over Luke. The whole Leia thing was a surprise. It was a pleasant surprise too. I was not expecting that at all. I love little Leia. I think she like is one of the greatest things about the show. Aside from like the bad writing, the actors are doing a phenomenal job. Like Ray said, Tal is great. Like
Yeah.
her acting ability in Game of Thrones was amazing too. So she definitely is very good at what she does with whatever she's given, along with Ewan, along with little Leia. But yeah, I was just one of the few that didn't want to see it. Mainly because I was worried that the budget wouldn't be able to do him justice, and that's kind of what I've noticed heavily on like the production design with Vader's castle, the camera angles. A lot of it just didn't look right to me, along with the set design for Episode 3, being in like a mound or field. It would have been. I mean, it seems like for Star Wars, there's a lot of opposites and stanzas that rhyme with each other, as George always says. It would have been cool if they fought on like some kind of snow planet or something, because they fought on, I don't know, Mustafar before. I don't know, just something creative other than a backlot in Paramount Studios is what I kind of picked up
Oh,
from
ouch.
that scene.
They broke
Ooh.
onto Paramount Studios. They didn't even use their own studio.
Because like I remember I went there recently, and like there was a lot that kind of looks like it, and that's just all I could think about during the scene.
Oh no.
Along with some of the janky editing, which is whatever. I will say that the testament goes out to the actors and the actresses that are really making this something that I actually am like watching. Otherwise, without Ewan, without Tala, without little Leia, I probably would be kind of waiting for it all to come out so I could watch it all at once. It's very hard for me to do that with Star Wars, but I was kind of leaning towards that after the first episode. I was getting a little iffy about it after thinking about it, because obviously when you're in the moment, Star Wars is everything. I love Star Wars. It's great. All the storytelling, all the stories that can be told are amazing. But when you're in the moment watching it, you kind of miss a lot of things, or you don't think a lot of things because you're drawn in the world of Star Wars.
Yeah.
The same with all the sequels, everything. So you don't really realize it until you look back on it. But
Yeah, that's so true.
I went off on a little bit of a sidebar, but yeah, I don't think he should be in it any more than he is. I think they've done it tastefully, and I'm okay with it. What do you guys think?
So Darth Vader is my favorite character of all time. Like, it's Darth Vader 1, probably Walter White 2. But so I'm literally like not the person to ask this, because my answer is always going to be I want more Darth Vader. But at the same time, I'm nervous about them using him and screwing it up. Like, that's really the crux of it for me. I don't want them to mess it up. So if they have to be sparing with it in order to nail him, then so be it.
All right, I'll take that. No, I agree 100%. I agree with Zach. I want a little bit more Vader. I think I went into this just because he was such a huge part of the marketing, and Hayden. We've only seen Hayden.
Yeah.
I wish we got more Hayden.
Yeah.
What was more Hayden?
Can we all agree they should have done flashbacks during the Back to Tank?
Oh yeah. I mean,
that's what we're talking about right now. Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. I the only thing that I can think of is like an IP issue or some kind of royalty thing that they can't do. I can't really think of a reason why they wouldn't. But I agree 100%. Clone Wars
they
flashbacks,
just didn't
anything.
think to do it. Like,
Which
that's
is even worse.
hit me.
Yeah,
I was like, maybe that's just like a fan generated idea, and that wasn't even like in the creative room.
I don't like when they do that. Then they do marketing and they lead you to believe one thing, and then it's the opposite or something else, but not in a good way. Like, you're expecting to see tons of Hayden, and then he's not there at all. Like, we're 4 episodes in, and like, come on.
They marketed him more than Moses, and like, he's been in it for 5 shots maybe.
Yeah.
And like shots like this, well, that's Obi-Wan.
I mean, it's not even him in the Vader suit. So like,
yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah, I'm starting to think he was only on set for like 1 day.
That's what I was telling Alex.
And he went everywhere for the marketing and the press.
Yes, exactly.
I was like, Alex, they could have shot all of his scenes in 1 day. They could have pulled that off.
Totally.
I don't know why. Is it bugging out on you guys? Can you see?
I can see it.
Oh, I can't see it on my end. I don't know why that happens.
You're doing great, buddy. It's
you're on.
It's a picture of Darth Vader's back.
I'm like trying to get a still somewhere.
You're in the vicinity.
Yeah, we're looking at the scene.
There's a good one of you in.
Is that good?
Yes.
Okay.
If you're trying to get it back to shot. Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, we'll just stay there. Sorry, what were we talking about? I was like getting distracted.
Missed opportunities.
Back to Tank, Anakin. Oh, marketing. Yeah. So I had mentioned to Zach, there was a concern I had when the first teaser dropped, when it played Duel of Fates and Battle of the Heroes in like an amazing mix for the trailer. I was like, every time they do this, they never use that music, and we're very rarely going to get anything that resembles the use of that music. So they're like, and they did it in Rise of Skywalker, and then we didn't hear it, and then we didn't see any flashbacks of any Jedi, and then they did it here where we still haven't gotten any flashbacks, and we haven't gotten any callback to that duel, really, or if anything that would resemble using that music. I don't think that the Vader scene needed that music. I think maybe Padme's funeral theme would have worked well, or something. A variation of that would have maybe worked, but I noticed the music and the marketing is used heavily to get them in, and then they use none of it, or even variations of any of it, or even new cool stuff for that matter, for any of the TV series so far.
The best song was on Mapuzo. The Mapuzo
yes,
theme.
that one. Okay, that one was good. That one was good.
That was.
But that, like, I agree, and Alex, I will fully admit I was wrong. You were right, because I was so in denial when you were saying that after they dropped the first trailer, and we all kind of came down from that high. And you were like, I think they're baiting us with Duel of the Fates. Like, we are not going to hear this song in this show. And I was like, be positive. Come on, don't talk like that. And you were right. You were right. Like, I have hope maybe for the final 2 episodes. Like, maybe they are just saving this for the next duel that is going to ensue. Like, and it's just gonna be epic out the wazoo. But I'm starting to think that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, like just think about it. If you're like the trailer production house, post production house dealing with it, and you have to make something like super marketable and really engaging, they're probably gonna reach out like, hey, like Battle of the Heroes, Duel of Fates, like it works for them. Can you send us? Can you like compose a variation and send it over? And we'll edit it all together. And then like in a way, it's like a completely separate department that does all of this. It's not like the main editing. It's not, so it's like it's not those people that made the trailer are editing the series. It's a completely different team. So the marketing team in general are probably Star Wars fans. And then the editors were hired just off of Transformers or something. So I don't know, like it's just a very interesting kind of prediction to really think about when it comes to marketing now for film, because there's a lot of companies that do approach it that way, where they need to grab you, so they do everything they know that can grab you, and then maybe don't come through on some ends with the finished product. But obviously we can't say that the series isn't done yet. There's still 2 more episodes, which are probably where all the budget is, so I'm excited. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll see.
But I think we can universally agree here, it would have been amazing to have back to tank flashbacks, whether it's Clone Wars, whether it's Satine, whether it's him
Oh man.
reflecting, whether it's him reflecting on his fight with Anakin, whether it's him seeing him burned, whether it's whatever, there's all sorts of things that could have been done, but that isn't. But
I would
don't
lose
know.
it if they showed Satine, like even if it was just blurry or like not clear, I would probably just this it.
Are you a big fan of Clone Wars and Satine and Obi's
Oh yes.
relationship? Yeah.
I think it's just such a cool part of him that probably a lot of fans don't even know about, because not everyone watched the shows.
And it's so good. It's like my favorite thing. Like I can't even fathom. I remember in the beginning I was like, I really hope to see Satine flashbacks, whether it's 2 seconds, like a tiny still of something just to see her in live action, whether it's Kate Blanchett or whoever
Oh
it is.
man,
that they
Kate
use.
Blanchett,
man.
yes.
I told you they weren't gonna do it.
I know. I was just so hopeful. It's
We
just a
can
hopeful Star
hope.
Wars fan.
We can make our own and then just edit it in there.
Yeah, I mean, I did do that.
Canon.
I did do that already, but like, it's just not. It's not the best quality, and like I want it to see a flashback in real life of Satine. That was like my biggest request. Clone Wars was like a close one, or even like just some like Obi-Wan on skirmishes with clone troopers somewhere would have been cool.
Yeah.
Like, just something like that, because there was one of those cool moments in Solo. Do you remember when he was like, well, it wasn't a flashback, it was just like on the front lines with Imperial troops,
Yeah,
and like
Yeah.
it was so cool.
So
And
good,
the flipping was kind of weird, but like aside from that, like it was just a really cool scene, and like there's a lot of cool things in that movie.
That would be cool. All I'm asking for is I just want a scene of Anakin and Obi-Wan that we have not seen before. Of them just like everybody keeps saying they should remake the one that it's from like a cut Clone Wars arc where they're on Utapau, I think. And it's basically Anakin talking about Ahsoka and being like, well, what if I fail you, Obi-Wan? And Obi-Wan's like, that's never gonna happen. And then it's like, oh yeah, like right? It'd be it's so perfect. And I'm getting the sense that they're not gonna do it, and it hurts. It hurts so bad.
Or
maybe
like,
because it got so
sorry.
much backlash with Book of Boba. I mean, well, this was in production while that was even. I'm sure they couldn't even be taking audience critiques into consideration because this was already being like produced and filmed. But a lot of people were. It's funny how we were all sick of the Book of Boba Fett flashbacks. We were like, all right, enough. Like maybe they were like, people don't like flashbacks.
I know they do flashbacks for that, but they don't do it when it's like
I
there
know.
is a lot of story.
Yeah.
Like there's so much that could be grabbed, and they don't do it. Almost like they didn't even see Book of Boba Fett. I do want to, like, since we're talking about Book of Boba Fett, I will say that their theme and the Mandalorian theme are great for the intro and outro. What do you guys think about the Kenobi theme? Do you guys like it?
I couldn't even hum it for you. I feel bad saying that, but I don't
Dun,
even
dun,
know
dun,
that.
dun, 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 dun. It's like that, right?
Oh
yes.
yeah, it is. I actually forgot too for a second. That's why it's like it's very generic sounding, and it doesn't.
Yeah, it's not as
fit.
memorable as the
Yeah.
others.
Yeah, like the Boba Fett one was great. Like I loved that.
Yeah. The jam.
Yeah.
Just like there's just a lot of things, a lot of things that could be improved on. But whatever, they have creative control.
Did
We're talking
Ludwig
about
Göransson do Book of Boba Fett as well?
No.
Sorry.
No,
No.
John
He did-
Williams did this one.
He did
John
the
Williams
theme.
did the theme and
The
one
theme, yeah.
track, I think, and then
The
there's
composer
another.
from Loki, right?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
which
blanking.
I liked Loki's score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ludwig did the main theme for Boba, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And then they had someone else do everything else.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But aside from the flashbacks, I think the next thing that really alerted me to like was
Oh no.
when he was talking to I don't remember his character's name, but Ice Cube's son. And
Rogan.
basically the exchange went like this. I'm not helping you. I know what the Empire is capable of. They killed my wife. Okay, I'll help you. And Obi-Wan didn't say anything to convince him. He just literally, that was the train of thought from him. And it's like, what? Like that's such bad writing.
Yeah. It's like we need to advance the plot. We only have 20 minutes. We need to get you from here to there. Our conflict's resolved now.
He's like, wait. They're telling me that I should help you because we're running out of time here, and the writer's telling me I should help you.
What would tug my heartstrings? Oh, I lost my wife. Yeah, that's what happened. Let's do it now and work together. And it's like the idea of it. Yeah, it's fine, but it's like how it was like. It was just all in one motion that it all happened.
It's sometimes not even the writing, it's also the acting and directing. I'm not talking about this particular moment, but overall, if there's a beat that's missing for whatever reason, because if he says, help me, I have someone important taken from me, and you don't know what it's like, and he's like, actually, I do know what it's like, and I'm gonna help you because I know exactly what it's like. So there is a beat there that's not executed for whatever reason. So that's what I'm saying. It's like it's a lot of factors.
Yeah, I
that's
agree.
true.
It could also be maybe editing. Like they did have a lot of
It could
coverage.
be editing. It could be whatever. Yeah. It's
Like they
just
probably did
got
have a lot of
skipped.
coverage. They just had to edit it down for some reason, maybe. And there's a
It-
lot of
yeah.
things that moved
Possible.
fast.
It just felt really quick. Like I could understand like what Ray was saying. Like maybe if he had paused and like turned around and faced the wall or something, and then been like, "Fine, I'll help you." But it was like just that like really quickly. Like I'm not helping you. They took my wife. Okay, you want my help? You've got it. And it's like what?
Yeah, it was quick.
Thanks, Charlie. Appreciate it, dude.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, that was yeah, a lot of people seem to like that video.
Was that the one that popped out for a little bit?
Yeah, the one about like why
Yeah.
Obi-Wan's weak and why it's okay.
No,
Yeah.
it's totally fine that he's weak.
Yeah. No, I was hoping to see him just a broken shell of
Same.
himself. That's
Yeah.
what I wanted to see. I don't want him to be the Kenobi he was, because that would make no sense for his character right now.
I wanted to revisit an Alice comment real quick. So I don't know if it's just a trophy case basically, or if it's involved in like the whole Emperor's plan to like eventually clone himself. It could be that too, and he's keeping the Jedi in stasis for their midichlorians or whatever, similar to how he was planning to use Grogu, I guess. So it could be just a trophy case, or it could be a science experiment, but we don't know yet.
Oh, I thought it was a trophy.
I thought so too, because it's
we've
in.
got the youngling there from. I mean, we all know. I assume they were all dead, and there's no
Yeah.
way to get them out. Like
Frozen
Yeah.
as a display.
Yeah, like the resin that you put bugs in kind of deal.
Yeah. pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was kind of the vibe I got. I think the idea of the mausoleum was really, really cool. It just would have been cool to see, more Jedi that he knew.
I
or
was
maybe-
hoping to see someone familiar. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
you
kinda-
see Terra, but
like
you don't really
Ayla.
see. Yeah,
Oh.
Don't touch Ayla.
yeah, and then did you guys notice like there was a big discussion in this scene at the very end? Let's see if I can find it.
About the
Right as
youngling?
he's leaving, no, about it being Mace Windu, even though it definitely isn't.
Oh
not
yeah.
Mace Windu.
Yeah, but like here, let's see if I can get to that. That's still
2017.
I can't get to it.
Oh,
There we
yeah,
go.
that's it.
See, like right here.
Yeah.
Like
That's-
they were
that's-
they were like that's Mace, but then you look, it's like wait, he still has his right hand, so it's not Mace.
Yeah.
I think if it were, they would have made a bigger deal. I would be livid at them if they were to just, if that's how carelessly they were just going to throw him in there. Like,
The editor's like, oh, we forgot that shot.
we didn't get a wide shot of Mace.
We left it on the cutting room floor.
It's like, wait, we didn't get the shot. It's like we brought him, we brought in Samuel L. Jackson, and we totally forgot to include him in this scene.
Am I
like-
the only one that wants Mace Windu to stay dead?
No,
Go ahead.
they need to stay. They need to stay dead. I mean, it's okay to bring some characters, but not all characters.
Yeah.
But saying that, I would love to see him again, just in a flashback.
I agree.
So, but
Ooh.
not resuscitate somehow.
It's like, dude, he only fell off of one of the biggest buildings in Coruscant. It's fine.
After getting electrocuted.
Yeah,
Like
get
a
electrocuted
trillion
and his
volts.
arm cut off.
Too much.
Which, by the way, why didn't Luke age when he was electrocuted? But we won't talk about that.
Oh.
Because he's Luke.
Because he's Luke
Yeah.
Skywalker. Which, by the way, I actually wanted to talk. Now that we're talking about Luke, I want to talk about Leia with the scene where she's like, I guess, interrogating him with the Force. Wouldn't she, I guess, kind of realize that she's Force sensitive?
Oh,
and
she totally would have.
I think she did.
But like, why wouldn't she want to just, I guess? Oh well, maybe she's trying. Maybe this is what they do to the Inquisitors. They torture them. They make them fall into like this weird Stockholm syndrome vibe, whatever it is. Maybe that's what they do to indoctrinate them. I don't know. But I felt like she would have maybe been a little bit more keen on like maybe,
Red
utilizing
alert.
her, or like utilizing her and like hopefully changing her on how she feels. Obviously, she was doing that a little bit, but I felt like this whole episode was kind of relying on their exchange, and it just felt a little flat, in my opinion. What do you guys think? I think Leia was great. I think just the
Yeah.
exchange in general was just kind of, I don't know.
I would have liked to see more from Reva, like contextualize her, why she feels betrayed by the Jedi a little more.
Mhm.
Like, I'm assuming she's that youngling in the opening Order 66 scene. So I thought that we would revisit that a little bit, and I felt like this would have been a good time to do it, and then they just didn't.
Yeah, no, I agree. It feels like they just chipped off a little bit of the iceberg that is still huge for Reva. I'm like,
Yeah.
we're running out of time. Like, I hate when this happens. Like, I know I said that we have a clean slate now for the final 2 episodes, but they still got to tie in Grand Inquisitor. Hoping some sort of arc happens for Ben, for Obi-Wan. Like, I feel like his arc has just been saving Leia, which I don't know. Yes, it goes deeper than that. It's about him protecting the children of Anakin and Padme and facing his demons, but I still feel like he has yet to really face them. I want Qui-Gon, and Reva's character, and we're running out of time to dip back into her past and then resolve whatever is going to happen with her to justify why she is so crazed on finding Kenobi. So we're starting to get to that point where it's not too late, but you got to start. Next episode has to start tying up some loose ends and going back to the past to contextualize everything. Yeah.
It's like they hit the pause button on everybody's character development for this episode, and it's like you don't have time for that. It's 6 episodes plus this episode was 30 minutes long, so it was just puzzling for me.
A quick question for you guys: whose character do you think this episode was for?
Oh.
I don't know.
Right?
Yeah.
It seems like it's pretty spread out and kind of randomized.
Maybe?
I think
I would say Tala, but
Tala was the star of the episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
She stole this episode.
So I don't. But it probably was not intentional.
yeah, it was more of her being cool than her character.
Which was, I don't know, mine too. She's awesome. But I don't know. About Reva, I think it's still coming, all her explanations and everything, because if I were doing the writing with this show, I would would save that until the important moment when she finally gets what she wants, and then there's a big choice. What does she do next? And then when we reveal the past, something might trigger it or whatever, and then she might change her mind. So if I were doing that, I would do it like that because it's classic like storyline. But I don't know if that's what they're going for.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that they're just saving the meat of it for the very end. So
Yeah.
when we finally get to the point, for her, I would love to see more of the motivation
Yeah.
of why she's doing
Yeah.
the things she's doing and why she's feeling. Because she's like somebody said, even her makeup, it doesn't indicate her full fall to the dark side. So she's like
Yeah.
in between, sort of. So it's a little unclear, and that's why when she does something, we don't know why she does it, and it
I
makes it a little
agree.
confusing.
You're so right. Like this, I was a Riva defender. Like I really liked. I thought she started off really great first 2 episodes. I was like, yeah, we got a passionate. She is angry. Let's go. Like I love her obsession. This past episode really soured her character for me a little bit because we saw a darker side of her, and I think some people in my reaction thought I was overwhelming because I was extremely stressed out by images of young Leia being strapped into this torture machine that is going to
Yeah.
drill into her brain. And maybe it's just because I'm a girl, so there's a more maternal instinct or whatever. Like, I was very disturbed by that. And I was like, I effing hate this. Like, I can't believe this is happening. And it's making me have disdain towards Riva because we don't have flashbacks yet or an explanation or she was tortured. Like, that needs to happen. Otherwise, I'm just like, all right, now her character's just really mean for the
Like
sake of being
evil.
really mean.
Let's-
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
also not forget that she's the one that maneuvered Leia into this whole thing anyway. Like, it's not like Leia has been working with these insurgents. She literally is only there because Riva had her kidnapped.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it makes
Yeah.
no sense. Like, what are you
Yeah.
interrogating her
I even
about?
forgot about it. That's right, because she
Yeah, like, all of a
instigated this
sudden-
whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't
Tech,
make any...
you're so right.
I'm sitting there like, what are you... They didn't tell her shit. She's 8 years old. Like, they didn't tell her their
Yeah.
plans. Like,
I was
what-
thinking
re-
maybe Riva is like undercover trying to do something, but
Oh,
then
God,
she
I
did-
hope not.
But then, Kat, like you said, then we get to the child torture. I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah.
This is like where, evil. It's
Yeah.
evil.
I mean, the moment I saw it, I was like, okay, she's going to be a bad character the rest of the show. And I was kind of relieved because I don't want it to
Yeah.
go the cliche, oh, I'm going to save you to get you and Leia off because Leia convinced me otherwise because she's a child and children are great. And she showed me how to
Yeah.
be a child again or whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever trope they're going for. I think one thing that I noticed, I mean, you mentioned like it'd be nice to see more backstory of Riva. Was she tortured? Apparently, all the Inquisitors were tortured, like relentlessly, to become who they are. And the very notion that she doesn't even look like she's been through anything other than just she has a lot of disdain for all of her motivations aren't necessarily completely fleshed out. This episode's better, but there's just a lot that still isn't clear on, and a lot of random quick A to C, A to B movements that are happening in 20-minute episodes over the course of 4 episodes so far. And with like one or a couple, like it's mostly fan service moments and really quick plot points moving back and forth. So it's just these next 2 episodes just have to kind of clear it all up. Otherwise, it's going to be like the end of the 6th episode, and then they announce season 2, 6 episodes next year or something.
Oh
Like,
gosh.
like,
Yeah.
Kenobi will return. Yeah.
Kenobi will return. Yeah, he's just sitting on the Boba Fett throne for no reason. Like, the same way they did it.
I think Leia should never have been captured because it opens up such a huge plot hole that makes no sense. Because now Vader knows that Obi-Wan came out of hiding for Leia for some reason, and he knows that there's a connection there. So why then would he allow her to return to Bail Organa and then allow Bail Organa to be a senator for the next 10 years? And then it just doesn't make sense. Like, he knows Leia Organa has some meaning to Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
And why he wouldn't pursue that, they better explain, because it just seems too obvious right now.
My
Yeah,
hope
there was
is
that
that Palpatine steps in. Like, all of this like behavior from Vader has been so childish to me, and seeing the ways that he's going about doing this, how sloppy the Inquisitors are doing all of this. Like, I just can't believe that Palpatine's not informed about it or not paying attention or just so out of it that he wouldn't be aware of how horribly the Inquisitors are going about all of this. Like, it's not going to happen. I'm not getting my hopes up, but that would be believable to me if Palpatine intervenes to talk all of them off of this ledge, because I'm already on the cusp of like questioning how in the world is Kenobi going to be able to peacefully go back to Tatooine and hang out there for another decade undisturbed, like unbothered, supposedly. So to me, like Palpatine intervention or something is like the only thing high stakes enough that I could fathom that would inspire them to back off. I don't know.
I feel like they have no idea. They have no idea about Tatooine, right? Kenobi just happened to be there at the time when they were like interrogating and killing that Jedi, but they still have no idea that Luke or even Kenobi's there, so he could still go back there and be fine.
True.
No issues. The thing about Palpatine is I'm glad he's not involved, because I feel like this is so minuscule in the grand scheme of things, that it should be just, you know, Vader and the Inquisitor's job, and he could care less what the Inquisitors do because they don't mean anything to him. They're all expendable to him the same way that Vader sees them. Like if you think that Vader sees them as expendable, Palpatine literally gives no shits. Like he's like, dude, these guys are just here to do our bidding, and if they fail us, they die. Which is another thing which I was assuming that Vader was going to come and piss and kill her. He kind of
I know, I was like, this is fast. I didn't think she was going to get killed off that soon.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have made sense just from like the way they've treated her character so far, like the importance of her character, for them to just kill her off in this episode. I would have been like, what was the point? Like,
yeah. That would be even worse than having her not have a character arc completely yet. Like her arc is just no arc, and then death would be, you know, after all the marketing, you know, it's
your arc is death.
you were brought into this world to die. No,
aren't we all?
But yeah, there was one thing, we'll get into it, but I wanted to go into now just about the choreography. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but I found the editing to be very janky, and there's a moment here where Kenobi hits a trooper and it bounces off the trooper, and then he goes back again. I don't know if you noticed that, but here, like, did you guys see that?
Oh, like his saber rebounds.
Like his saber rebounds as if it was like a bat.
No, I didn't notice.
I don't know if that was the intent. But I noticed that the first time I saw it.
He was wearing Beskar armor, man. Got him some slack.
All stormtroopers back then, they had the highest budget in the world before they built the Death Star. All the stormtroopers had Beskar. So then the moment they built the Death Star, they had to roll back and give them just normal stormtrooper armor that's easily shot through at any moment. But there's a lot of moments here. I'll keep pausing for copyright purposes. But like this angle is just like I've never seen a Star Wars lightsaber battle or anything filmed from that angle from a long take. Like there's a lot of long takes in Star Wars, but the cuts are from generally an establishing into whatever's going. You can look at Revenge of the Sith, you can look at Attack of the Clones. It's never janky and awkward like that. Like anytime there's an awkward moment, I've noticed probably in any choreography, it's unnoticeable in any of the prequels because the editing is so good. So that's one thing that I think I've noticed in this one is like I think they didn't get enough coverage of the saber or the scenes, so it just didn't work out the way it was supposed to maybe. But there were some moments that were great, but overall I just didn't quite enjoy the choreography in this episode, even though I'm very happy to see him using his lightsaber. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I wish they had tied some kind of like character development to it though, because it seems like he's just like, well, I got to do this, so I'm going to do it. I wish he went from getting like thrown around by Vader, fighting pretty haplessly, to like pretty capable in this episode. And I feel like it was missing a little bit of character development. Like if they had flashbacks and then they used that to push his return back to form along a little more, I think it would have made a bit more sense. But like, again, that's nitpicking. Like I did enjoy seeing him use the lightsaber. It felt good.
Yeah, me too. It's like that part that I was not looking for anything and nothing jumped out to me immediately. I was in the scene. I was excited. Like it was like a cat said, like adrenaline. It was like anxiety. It was like a cool action. So I didn't even pay attention to anything that I wouldn't wouldn't like. So maybe if you showed throughout this whole process, like the first few moments would be more awkward because he's like still getting into it, but by the end he's
Yeah.
like, all right, I remember now. So maybe, but otherwise, it's Obi-Wan and he's awesome, so he's doing his
Yeah.
thing. I
I
enjoyed
think
it.
I was less fixated on the choreography and more not disappointed, but I had said, I was like, I really hope he doesn't bounce back too quickly from this. Like, this is a come to Jesus moment for him, getting literally incinerated the prior episode, and then not even like a day later, he's up and at it and he's going again. I was
Yeah,
like,
that was disappointing for me too.
yeah, I was like, where's I guess his robes were so thick that by the time he was extinguished, the flames hadn't really like charred much of his right side, his fighting side. Correct. If he's a righty, I'm assuming like that was his right side that was getting absolutely lit up. Like that for me is what I was more focused on. I was like, he seems to be bouncing back really quick. But then I was like, maybe it's just the adrenaline and Leia's life
Yeah.
is on the line. And
Well,
I
he
don't
was
know.
in a tank for a little bit, so that might have helped.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
But
Yeah,
they
I
kept
get-
saying like, you can't even stand up. Like, how are you gonna go in there? You can barely walk. Blah blah blah. It's like,
he
but
looks amazing.
He looks amazing. he goes for a
He's a
nice little
Jedi.
swim. Yeah, I just like you're
I guess
supposed
it,
to
I
show
guess
us.
I
not
guess
tell
back
us.
to tank can heal nerve damage too.
Can heal
Because
anything.
inevitably,
Yeah.
inevitably it just totally tore his body up. But
Yeah,
I mean, it's not so much the fact that he's healed. It's just I was kind of excited at the idea. I was like, oh, he's getting burnt terribly. Maybe this will age him a little bit and make him look a little older. I don't know. Obviously, he looks really
This is
old.
his transformation to
Yeah,
Alec
and then
Guinness.
and then he looks better out of the back to tank than he did the first 3 episodes. And I'm like, look at that! Look at this dad with his beautiful hair. I'm just like sitting there, like, okay, I guess there goes that theory.
could you imagine if he came out looking just like Alec Guinness and they like
Oh
they
gosh.
modulated his voice and it's just like Ewan McGregor's gone?
He's like only in it for the first 3 episodes. The next 3 is just all Alec Guinness.
I would be so disappointed. I'd be so pissed.
It's just golden.
See, things could be worse, guys. That's a good point. Things could be worse. Gotta
I
look
did
on the
like-
bright side.
I did like the scene where they where Kenobi collapsed the water and the water came in, and I think that was like a really cool, like budget wise, a cool scene because you get to see him fall in order. Just another
Yeah.
cool little callback. But the whole Leia in a
Trench coat.
trench coat is like it's very interesting choice. When the entire place is on full alert and everyone is looking for you.
Yes, like how come no one notices that?
Yeah. It's
Totally
like
not
I mean,
weird.
if anything, maybe put her in, I don't know, like a droid because she's small enough. Maybe like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like lug her around in like a supply crate or something. I don't know. I mean, it would have made like a lot more sense from like a spy thriller sense.
Who'd they
right?
do that with? Didn't they do that with like Chopper? They like put a garbage can over him. Which droid am I thinking about that they
That
literally just put
sounds
like
Chopper. Yeah.
a trash can over top of him and he looked like an Imperial droid? They could have done that.
This episode honestly felt like a Rebels filler episode or something.
Definitely felt like Rebels.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like on like the bad end of Rebels, like a Rebels
Oh,
episode
no.
that wasn't very good. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like if I'm a stormtrooper and I'm in that hangar and I see Obi-Wan walking with this coat, I'm like, my first thought is that looks like that man has a child in his coat. Like it's not, you're not concealing
Like,
anything.
what are those little feet doing there?
Yeah.
He must just have 4 feet. It's very interesting.
It probably
but-
would have been less obvious if he just had her out, like just like I don't know, like escorting a prisoner or something. I don't
That's a
know.
good point.
Like the thing with Rebels is what is it, like 15 episodes a season?
Yeah,
Like there is a lot of
Maybe
episodes
even
a season,
more.
maybe
Yeah.
even more, and like we have 6, so it's like
Uh,
we need more. But I mean, whatever. I kind of just ignored that, and then we got into the
your faves.
yeah
snow
the
speeders.
snow speeders. I just want what's everyone's opinion on the snow speeders before I kind of get into it, because I just actually I'm getting into it now. Go ahead.
Not Wade. I don't want to watch Wade die again. I can't handle it emotionally.
we care so much about his character that we know nothing about.
I didn't notice if people are critiquing. I'm assuming people are critiquing the graphics of the snow speeders. Maybe I'm just so dumb. I wasn't noticing.
You're not dumb.
I wasn't paying. I couldn't. I feel like they look better than some other ships from the show. I don't know. Maybe it's just the lighting, the setting. They were believable to me.
Yeah, I didn't really focus on them too much.
Me either.
I focused on just kind of this moment where like they're just so close to the walls.
Oh,
here.
the perspective.
They're
oh
so
yeah.
Oh, that
close.
looks bad. That looks bad right there.
They're
Oof.
so
Yeah.
close, dude. And then all of a sudden they're not. Like they keep going too. Like they're basically. I was like, okay, they're just gonna suicide kamikaze crash or something. And
Could you imagine?
Oh gosh.
And then I'm just like, okay, well, I guess they have insane handling and they got out of there fine. But I mean, now they're
I
out
think
there.
they were saying they don't even like use them though, right? When they were trying to plan the mission, they were like, we don't ever actually use them. Right? Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but
yeah,
they're not like trained pilots. So
yeah, that too. They're just randoms in snow speeders, which is very interesting. But this scene also was in the trailer. This was kind of a theory that I had that Reva was gonna like maybe turn good and then help Obi-Wan and Leia escape Inquisitorius, because obviously the shot shows the troopers aiming and then firing, and there's a lot of bolts. So you just maybe are thinking she's fending off blaster bolts from stormtroopers, which I was hoping to God that wasn't the case. Well, it obviously wasn't the case here. She was just deflecting massive blaster bolts from a snow speeder, which I think those. I was talking to Zach about this. I'm pretty sure that these lasers are like massive explosive. Like they're not blasters. Like they're like
big.
like AT kind of, not quite that big, but they're in that realm, you know,
oh,
like ship blaster bolts are like massive, like they're
My
explosive. So it's like, it's weird that you can block that.
my only basis for explaining why she wouldn't have been able to block it, though, to be fair, was in the old Battlefront 2 game, you could not block vehicle blasts with a
Yeah.
lightsaber. So
would
that's
get
the
blown
only
up.
thing I. Yeah.
You would get blown up profusely. Like there's
Yeah.
no way you could block them because they're just too big. Yeah, it's kind of like blocking, I don't know, like a missile or something.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, and it's very tone deaf, I feel like. Which, you know, whatever. I mean, that was their choice. Now it's canon that you can block fighter blasts with a lightsaber. It kind of felt like Starkiller. Like I was talking, me and Zach were also saying, it kind of felt like more along the lines of like Force Unleashed, which is like kind of over the top force abilities, over the top blocking, over the top everything, which that game obviously isn't canon, because then it would just be like, well, why doesn't everyone just do that in the movies? And then here it's kind of utilized, which is kind of like, oh, okay, got it. But I don't know. That was another thing that kind of just bothered me just a little bit. I don't know if you guys even care. It's just fair.
Again, I must be. I wasn't even noticing that. I was just. I think I was too relieved to be like, okay, the trailer shot is not what we thought it was. I was like, all right, she's still bad. She hasn't turned good yet.
Yeah, I was glad too that didn't happen. I just thought it was kind of a weird sequence. Like it just felt kind of clunky. Like when she's running to chase Obi-Wan, she's running really slowly, and it's like, I don't know. It just looks like the action sequences in the show have looked a little off to me. I don't know if anybody else feels the same, but every single action sequence has just, like, I haven't seen a good action sequence from the show. It's kind of concerning.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you have Ewan, who's like trained with the saber, in the past.
I would disagree on one thing. I think the opening scene was absolutely brilliant. The one long Order 66. I think that one was absolutely
it was
done.
beautiful.
Oh, great. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so that one was incredible. But as for the rest, I guess what they do well, at least for me, is that I get engrossed into the story. Maybe it's just me, but I always get very, very much immersed. So I was too much in the story to pay attention to technical things. And on the first watch, I didn't pay much attention to those little things. Just to me, I was watching people and their faces and what they're kind of doing. So I didn't get bothered by it. And I think the fight between Obi-Wan and Vader, the very first one, the clumsy one, sort of on Obi-Wan's side, I think that was well done, because it was exactly how it would go. He was out of it and he was losing horribly, and it was thrown all over the place. So I think that one was accurate to how it would be.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like I have no issues with the way it was portrayed, because I think that he's just so PTSD'd out. There's nothing that he could say. A lot of people were complaining, why didn't he mention Padme? Why didn't he say anything? Why didn't he try to bring him back? He's just in shock. Like he's just trying to
Yeah.
come to terms with what's going on, and like his reactions, like him losing easily. Yeah, that's all good and dandy. It was just the production design and the just the overall quality, I felt like, of how it looked, doesn't hit me right. I've noticed I have a lot of problems with the way the sabers from Disney look. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. If you look at the prequels, if you look at even the original trilogy, I like the way that those sabers look a little bit more than how they're doing them now. They seem a little higher saturation, and they don't seem to be glowing as much. I don't know if you guys have noticed that.
I think they glow more. Like they have
Or,
more of an
or
area effect.
yeah, they have more. Or sorry, yeah, they have more of like that halo effect. But like it's like it just seems like they're holding a stick that's vibrant, which is maybe more realistic. But it's like it doesn't look like the prequel trilogy, or even the sequel trilogy with sabers look. I don't know if you guys noticed that. I mean, it's not like a big deal. It's just something that I've noticed. They don't look similar to the way they used to.
Now I need to look at like a picture.
A little comparison, maybe.
Yeah.
I like the sequels, the lightsaber look. The sequels, I think that they
Yes,
look great.
yeah. I think they look probably, yeah, like the cool like I don't even know what that effect would be called, or it's like kind of like
It's
a
like a
pulsing,
strobing a little bit
yeah, a
almost.
pulsing like flame kind of going around it. It looks really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I agree. I think the sequels are great. Maybe it's just a budget thing. Maybe it's like if you give someone
No, it's not a budget. I mean, it's not that hard to do it. It's a choice. Like, I mean, fan films do sabers great. I think it's just a choice for some reason, or whoever was in charge of it. But again, maybe some people like it. I don't know. I prefer the sequel lightsaber look the most.
I would be okay with if they just kept that the standard for sure. I agree 100%. You mentioned you had a counter argument. You mentioned obviously the Order 66 was amazing. I agree. I totally forgot about that because I'm too focused on like the actual story. Anything with flashbacks has been great, but we don't really get that except for that moment, which I believe that's Riva as one of the younglings that was there. I don't know if I guess we'll find that out. But you mentioned something else. You liked the Vader scene. There was another thing you mentioned that you liked more than the others, or am I wrong there?
No, my favorite one was the opening scene so far, because
Okay.
that one like was brilliant on every level to
Mhm.
me. And I guess the first episode, I'm always into that Blade Runner stuff when you get a glimpse into a character's inside world and you
Mhm.
get to spend time with them when they're doing their thing. And I had a huge Rey flashback, like when Obi-Wan does his routine and he's sitting there by himself and looking out in the distance.
Mhm.
That was the same as in Force Awakens when Rey does exactly the same thing. I thought that was, I don't know if that was intentional or not. Remember when she's in her helmet
Oh,
and she's eating her little food and she's just watching the sky, and
yeah.
Obi-Wan does exactly the same thing. So I don't know if that was
Oh
intentional or not.
yeah.
But I really loved that episode because to me it was so dramatic, like internally dramatic. I was looking forward to more of that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree. And this was the only episode that didn't have any of it, which I think is why I didn't like it.
I'm like maybe one of the very few, like if it was like very little action and just more his internal feelings and struggles, because he's such a great actor, I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
Right there with you. Yeah.
Like if it was just 6
Yes.
episodes of that, like Ewan
Yeah,
can do
more
anything.
conversations, more him questing for whatever it is, and even like talking, I would actually be okay with him having more conversations than action in the series.
Yeah, truly. One of the a nice snippet of this past episode 4, was the pregame scene with him and Tala when they're getting ready to land near the fortress, and she can see he's struggling, and she says a really great line like, there's more than your body that needs to heal, and it's just going to take time. And I was like, that's the point of this show, though. Like, that was a really good moment, but I was like, yeah, obviously he's got a lot of healing to do, and I feel like we've barely cracked into any of that. Like, show me, don't just describe it in one exchange of dialogue with him saying like some things you can't forget. I was like, that's the point of this show.
Yeah, like in the trailer, I remember like seeing Obi-Wan kind of like, in a way, it kind of had like the spy vibe on the planet. I forget what the Dayu.
Oh,
Like
Dayu,
when he's like walking across, like kind of looking over. I just assumed like he was just gonna be like completely outwitting everyone all the time, like he normally does. Just his normal, like, he's able to sneak around and do his normal Obi-Wan stuff and just be very cheeky. Because something calls him there, like whether it's like he sees another Jedi being found or investigated, and he's there to kind of oversee it and like maybe help him or whatever, and never be caught. But it seems like the show is kind of reliant on other people helping him, just for the sake of helping him on when he needs it the most, instead of him being the character that he normally always is, which is fine. But I was like really excited for like a really cool like spy thriller with like really great writing and like really cool concepts or really cool ideas that kind of play off of Obi-Wan's kind of wittiness and his charm and whatever. The little force thing that he does, like to lure the guards away, was pretty cool. A little callback to A New Hope, which is great. That was kind of the first time he's ever used it, and he closed his eyes and just kind of does that, and he's like, oh, that worked. And then he just does it again, kind of with the sleight of hand, and just walks away as an old man. But like I like that. There's little scenes that I really do like, but it would have been just really cool to see his character be like the best undercover Jedi that they can never find, and like never like that would have been so cool to see. Like Grand Inquisitor maybe comes close, and the only one that ever comes close is maybe Vader, because he's in it at the very end. Real like outwits Obi-Wan even, because he's so good at like thinking ahead or realizing what's happening, and then killing the most of the Inquisitors aside from the Grand Inquisitor in the process, because they keep failing him, because that's what he does. But I'm assuming we'll probably see the Grand Inquisitor next episode. Like, there's no way we aren't.
Oh yeah.
But,
I mean, he's alive in Rebels, so
yeah. Unless they just don't realize that. I hope.
No, don't think like that. But I'm also like, Rupert Friend was a huge part of the marketing. Like, he did a lot of interviews and stuff. Like, bring him back. Especially because I don't think I actually ever talked with you and Zach about this, Alex. Like, what do you think about? I feel like they made huge changes from the Inquisitor we see in the trailer to how he appears in the show. Like, I want to see more of him. Like, I really like his appearance and his portrayal of the character. Like, what were your guys' thoughts?
You can go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, he was okay. I mean, I'm glad his eyes were yellow, but like they just offed him so quick. I mean, he's not dead, but they like removed him from the picture so fast.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand why he's even in the show. Like, you don't need the Grand Inquisitor. You could just say he's off dealing with some other problem, and then you have like Reva and a couple other Inquisitors. Like, it felt like they just talked themselves into like, okay, we need the Grand Inquisitor, obviously. And then they didn't like stop to think like, why do we need him in it? Because they got rid of him immediately. So I don't know.
Yeah. I guess I mean, before I kind of get into my thing, I want to be respectful of Ray's time. So Ray, if you need to go,
yes,
you're more than welcome to head out at any time. But I wanted to say the trailer shots show him in the day, so you don't get to see his eyes. The moments when he's in Dayu at night, you see the contrast in his eye color. But I think his eyes have always been like that. It's just you see him in Dayu because he was never shown in the trailer in those moments. I don't hate his design. I really like his dialogue. A lot of things he says, the way he presents himself is like a good presence. Like, he was definitely needed because the other Inquisitors aren't enough thus far. The voice acting of Kang is a little funny. I think he could have been great, but everything he says just feels forced, in my opinion. The other, I don't think it's the fourth sister. Do you guys know exactly who the other Inquisitor is? His sister? I don't remember.
Exposition.
Yeah,
lady.
she says hardly anything, and I would love if she had more lines or had more of a presence, but she doesn't.
She looks the coolest out of all of them. Like her
Yeah.
costume looks the best.
Yeah.
Like her makeup and all that.
Yeah, I like her a lot. But I mean, I don't know. I just think if we don't get him in the next episode, it'll be a big missed opportunity because we need to see, I think, him and Reva kind of face off at some point, or Vader just kills Reva. I guess I don't know how it's gonna unfold, but to close it out, I mean, I think maybe we can just have like our last minute predictions, and let Rey get on with whatever she has to do for the rest of her day. But I'm glad there's a lot of things that I thought was gonna happen not come to fruition. Like so far it's still like watchable for me. I'm still enjoying like I said, 5 or 6. I think it's only going to get better. We will see kind of, I guess, how the second standoff, second inevitable standoff is going to be between Obi-Wan and Vader. But we have a lot to do, and I'm hopeful that these next 2 episodes are at least an hour. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going a different way from where I initially thought it would go. So it's hard to predict anything. So I'm just in for the ride and see what they do. I do know we have to see something about Reva's past for sure. Some kind of like a revelation, whatever that's gonna be. So that's gonna happen. I'm kind of okay with not seeing little Leia again, even though I really love her, but I kind of had enough of saving her.
Yeah.
I want to focus on Obi-Wan and his next steps and what he's gonna do now. He's kind of been thrown back to it, and
Qui-Gon.
yeah. Well, yeah, because they planted that seed already with Qui-Gon, so I'm hoping we're gonna see him, because I love him and he's incredible, and if he shows up, that's gonna be the coolest moment. So probably in the moment of the most, when you need him most, that's when he's gonna show up, not before. So since Obi-Wan's back to his Force thingies, and now he was trying to. It's like Rey, be with me, and no one comes until the important moment. So it's gonna be the same thing, hopefully. Otherwise, just Vader, and I want to see Anakin, not Vader. So that's kind of a big thing for me, and I'm just gonna enjoy what's left.
Temple flashbacks.
Yeah, dude,
Right.
I want like a whole episode where Obi-Wan just unpacks his trauma and like faces it. And I want them to dedicate a whole episode to it. I thought it was going to be this one, but I was wrong. And it just felt like it made the most sense to do it now after he got messed up by Vader. But I here's to hoping they do it next week. Here's to hoping we see Qui-Gon. And I hope it's a little more than like Qui-Gon shows up and is like, "Hey, Obi-Wan, you're good now, bro." And Obi-Wan's like, "Oh, cool, I am." And like he's just fine, and he's dealt with his trauma. Like I hope that it's something more meaningful than that. And I hope that Reva doesn't just abruptly turn to the light. And I guess we're gonna have to see. I hope for Anakin. That's God.
Anakin, your only hope.
Dude, they have to show Anakin more, right? Like
they're saving it for the end.
So optimistic. Kat, any last minute?
Yeah, I mean, you all know Qui-Gon is the one thing I want out of this show. Not getting my hopes up, but I agree with Rey. I think you're onto something. They're probably saving it for the juicy end. And again, seconding what Rey said, I think at this point, I stink at predictions. Things that I had anticipated it's gone complete opposite direction. So I'm going to try my best to just stop now and just clear my head and go in open-minded and not even try to just like anticipate what I would want to see. Because at this point, I mean, I just want to see more of like what Zach was saying, Kenobi facing his demons. And even if it's not resolved, you made a great point, Zach. Like, I don't even want him to reach his breakthrough in this like show. Like, he's just learned a huge truth. I feel like we've barely tapped into that and the trauma that is probably, trauma that he's facing. And even if he ends the show still grappling with that, like that to me is believable. So yeah, just trying to go in open-minded. So we'll see.
Well,
see.
we're all here super optimistic.
Are we?
we went
What gave you that impression?
we went way over. There was a lot of talk about this episode. We went
Yes,
way
Ray,
over.
thank you
I
so
wanna
much
thank
for
you so
being
much,
generous
Ray,
with your time.
for popping
Sure.
on.
It
and
was
talking.
fun. Thank
Yeah.
you for having me.
We'll definitely have you on again for sure at
Yeah,
some
we'll-
point.
All right. Well, enjoy the next episode, and then
You
we'll
too.
talk.
Yeah, we'll talk then. But I want to say, everyone go subscribe to her. Everyone go
Thank you.
follow her on Instagram. She's great at what she does, and she'll only get better for sure. Can't wait to see what else you come out with. And may the force be with you, and along with everyone in the chat. Thank you for sticking around. Drop the like, comment below. Like if you've enjoyed like having, if you like us having guests, or you prefer just having, us three. I think it's great to have a little kind of discourse around whether we like it or what we don't like it, but actually having discourse and not just this sucks, this is terrible, like what you see in most comment sections kind of everywhere on like any Star Wars YouTuber. You can just ask Zach. You can just probably I feel like Kat's comment section is pretty good. Mine's awful.
Mine's
So
awful. For the most part, I get a lot of like Reva sucks, Reva's ruined this whole show, Reva.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
I've got Charlie patrolling my comment section. I gotta give a shout out to him publicly because he is a warrior in my comment section. So half the time I don't even have to filter it out because he's already done the hard part. So
Attaboy, Charlie.
thank you, Charlie. Thank you. Keeping the peace.
wait, have there been a lot of spam?
No, but
Comments?
anything that is just unnecessarily. I don't mind comments, and I like comments from people respectfully
Just
voicing.
not bad comments.
Yeah, people respectfully
Which is
voicing their
fair.
opinion because everyone's opinion is valid and fair, and I can't control how people feel. But when people start to get mean or anti Kathleen Kennedy or directing the showrunners or actors, making a personal attack, that's when I don't respect it. So that's what. But that's rare. It's a pretty positive, comment section for the most part. So
Yeah, I had some guy dropping Bible verses in my comments.
Oh, dude, that's happening everywhere. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is. I don't know if it's like a million accounts just trying to speak the word of God in comment sections on viral videos. I don't know what it is, but it's
I don't know.
bizarre.
I gave him a warning. I was like, "This isn't church, man. This is a Star Wars channel. Like, keep
we're
it
talking sci-fi here.
Like, yeah,
okay?
like keep it topic appropriate. Like, keep it appropriate." And then he did
It's like,
it
but
again.
the Bible is sci-fi, Zach.
Ooh, sick burn. And then he did it again. and I
Kidding.
had that just-
I'm Catholic. I'm Catholic. It's okay.
We're
guys.
gonna be
It's a joke.
canceled.
No, it's a joke. It's a joke.
I'm starting to realize one last thing about the Obi-Wan thing. I'm starting to realize Watto's not going to show up, and
Stop.
And no Johnny
Yeah.
Depp, unfortunately.
Johnny Depp
Very-
is
Or
Watto.
Dex. No
As Watto.
Dex.
He's just
Or
he's just painted.
Dex, yeah.
He's just painted blue. It's like, I'm Watto. It's like, no, you're not.
That's got to be the best pirate I've ever seen.
Jack Sparrow's just in it. It's like, oh no, we're combining the multiverse now.
Oh
The
god.
multiverse has seeped into Star Wars.
But yes, Alice, I've noticed you in my comments on some videos, getting in some arguments. I applaud you.
Alice is a warrior.
Very
She
few
will.
people can do that, and you're doing that with ease. So.
Yeah. Alice is amazing. She will shut people down. I love it. Respectfully. She goes after people who are being unnecessarily angsty or mean. I
Yeah,
love
she's
it.
got that Australian accent, and then just kind of turns them all
Killing
down.
with kindness.
Greetings from UK, currently 1:28 a.m. Thanks for popping on, dude. Still trying to figure
Yeah.
out
Thank
how
you.
no Imperial questioned Obi-Wan's trench coat. Yes, we were just talking about that. It's ridiculous, but it's Disney, so it's funny.
Maybe
and
they
they're
heard
with
all
that.
our Yoda in a trench coat dialogue and they were
Yeah.
Oh my god, we
We inspired
we
them.
we
inspired that
manifested
scene.
this.
We became the very thing we swore to destroy.
Look, the Stanleys. Watto isn't begging at the spaceport. I own the goddamn spaceport. God, it's been so long since I used that voice. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. We need the trench coat edit. We just have it in video. We don't have it. We don't have it in picture form. Where's Fulcrum when you need him?
Yeah.
I know.
When the
Damn it,
world needed him
Fulcrum.
most, he vanished.
Yeah, he's never here when we need him, and then he's always we always need him. Never. Who am I kidding?
Surprised you guys haven't had Theory on the show yet. If he wants to come on, we'd have him on, but like we're probably a little too small at the moment.
Yeah,
Oh,
he,
yeah.
there's no way he would come on.
Yeah.
I would definitely have Den of Nerds guy. I always forget his name.
Oh, Josh.
Yeah,
Daddy
I'd love
Josh.
to talk to Josh.
I would
Daddy
definitely have
Josh.
Josh on. He knows like way more than I do, and he's in a lot of ways knows way more than Theory does for a lot of things, and has a lot better takes. So I would love to have him on. But
I'd love to have Jamie Costa as well. I've low key been on the verge of being like, "Do you want to come on and talk about?"
if you get him, you get a promotion.
A promotion. Yeah.
You're now Evil Ewok Chieftain.
My shares have increased. I have majority shares after that.
It's like your shares have been diluted to 0.07%.
It's like I'm not going to be a part of Facebook.
Oh, you get that. You get it. Thank you. I'm so happy you got that reference. Oh my god.
Of course. That's
oh
like
my god, that was great. That was great. Chat.
Iconic scenes.
I
It's
want
like I'm not going to be a part of
Hidalgo.
Evil Ewok. You're not going to not be a part. You aren't a part.
Dude, imagine we have like special clearance at Disneyland. They're like, oh, we're Evil Ewok. You're like, oh, come on in.
A lifetime membership.
They
to
just throw us
Galaxy's
in a
Edge.
dungeon. They just throw us.
We've been trying to catch you sons of bitches for years.
Now that we have you, you will never leave the Disney threshold.
This is for all that copyright in your theme song.
Yeah, they got us. Jamie Costa's Robin Williams is the best impression in the whole world.
He does a really great Robin Williams. He does
Is
a
he
great
is he a voice
everything.
guy? Is he a voice dude? Can
Oh
he do?
yes.
Oh,
Oh my god. Oh my gosh.
just-
If you've ever seen any of his stand-up comedy, that's like he's a huge impressions guy.
Oh,
And he is great. Yeah, he's posted some on his channel. He's done stand-up and posted some of it, and he is really great. Yeah.
I've only seen this Kenobi. That's about
No,
it.
he did test footage playing Robin Williams in like a fully produced and edited kind of short film. Like kind of test footage
Wow.
for like a potential biopic, and it went viral. It like blew up, but I think he ended up taking it down. It got like too big and garnered some like attention. But because his performance was incredible, he was like really people wanted to see it come to fruition in like a full-length movie. So oh, Alice, you're too sweet, girl.
We try.
He does a great Harrison Ford too. Wow.
How's his Watto?
Yeah, that's the real question.
That's the real
You-
test.
Challenge.
You gauge a voice actor based on how well he does Watto. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, actually, wait, no, I can't disclose that. But X-Wing just got a cool job.
Let's go.
As
Oh,
a voice
wait.
actor.
I think he was talking about this with us. Oh, now I want to message him. That's right.
Like on stream, he was talking about it.
Maybe no, like behind the scenes.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
we were in the stream pre-game or post-game, and he had mentioned something about it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask him.
Hashtag come on X-Wing.
For real.
Dude, we should someone should make an image meme for that, or like just a video and we just clip it.
Come on X-Wing.
We need to start utilizing our clips more often.
We're doing our this is our 24-hour stream now, so we'll just wait for him to become available and we'll get him on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm usually fucking exhausted by this time, but I'm actually not feeling too bad. But I mean,
It's
I think
been an hour, 30 minutes.
yeah.
I could go for another 22 and a half hours.
It's like 1 hour and a half, dude. I could do another
Easily.
fucking 3 days. No.
Yeah.
But like I think that about concludes it. We can move the other news to next week, honestly.
Yeah,
If you guys are
yeah.
okay with that.
There was more news. Oh,
There's
that's fine.
one thing.
There's one thing, but we can just talk about that next week. I'm sure next episode won't be as we won't be as upset as we were in this one.
I sincerely hope so.
It should be fine. But I've been saying that for so long now that I'm just why am I kidding myself at this point? But anyway, this is our actual goodbye. Thank you so much for those of you who are still in here. You guys are probably leaving because we were saying goodbye 20 minutes ago.
geez, Yeah.
But we kind of go on sidebars and then start talking to chat, and you guys are all awesome. Thanks for all the support so far. We plan on, keep doing this every week. We all love it. Keep moving. We'll maybe get Daddy Josh on at some point.
And Pablo Hidalgo.
And then we'll get Theory, and then we'll get Ewan McGregor.
Woo!
We'll just get a plethora of everyone who's way bigger than us. So it'll be great. But anyway, goodbye everyone, and